Feature Friday.
The freshest.
Hey, I love this guy. I actually do. I mean, we check him out a lot, I know, but he's like, I want to know, I want to figure out I discover so much music, but I want to do it on the channel. So that means that when I'm off camera, I'm not listening to much of his new music. I'm listening to the songs that we've already checked out.
That's right.
So that we can check it out together. And you guys add so much value to the reviews because you give us information regarding the stuff, or maybe some of you have seen him live.
Compositions.
And it's insane. So
Yeah.
this is something that's been very requested. And if you'd like to put your request for us to check it out, make sure you do it in the pinned comment, in the request thread, in the pinned comment below.
Right.
And he does like this Facebook concerts kind of thing.
He did this not long ago, a few weeks ago, I think, where he did like a Facebook Live concert. He sat in his little studio from his house and sang songs for like an hour and a half.
I guess
straight.
maybe because of the situation, like maybe it's...
I don't know. I think he just did it for fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think they just kind of said, "Oh,
Let's
here
give it a go.
This is one of the songs from that live stream.
Mast Magan, which I don't think we've ever heard.
I don't think so. Voice from his heart. I love the title of this video. Oh my god, it's brilliantly mixed.
Shit, he's live.
It is.
He's like barefoot.
Oh my god.
It makes a C major sound so beautiful. Maybe I have heard this. I recognize it.
I don't recognize it, but I want to make a really interesting point here from a vocal technique perspective. His mouth modulation is so minimal. I hadn't really paid attention to that before. Maybe it's magnified with this performance specifically, given the gain.
Big.
Yeah, and the high reverb in the mastering of the sound itself. But yeah, there's very tiny mouth movement, so that actually means that everything is happening right from the inside. So the tongue for the diction, the soft palate for that lovely resonance, but everything's really pulled back. Everything is really detailed and restrained for a moment, and
Controlled.
Yeah, but it maintains that openness and highly melodic feel to it. There are very few singers that maintain melody with this type of vocalizations. One of them in pinnacle for me, it's Moira de la Torre from the Philippines. She
highly
possesses.
recommend it. If you like Arijit's music, you would love Moira de la Torre's music.
Indeed, and they've got similar takes on the highly melodic lines that just are really preserved at the same time. So it's all about the amplification of melody, but that's really stylistically personal. And I think Arijit right here really compressed that concept really well. He has that power to magnify this same feel in live music, but I had never seen it so controlled, so like encapsulated. It's really nice to watch.
Yeah.
Interesting for sure. Really thought-provoking from a vocal technique standpoint.
It's a unique
beautifully
individual.
Mixed.
It's a unique individual. And I think that's what makes him so popular as well. Like, I don't think there's been many singers, especially with a modernist approach to music, that have been able to capture such, I guess the word would be soulful, not in the music style, but in the approach to music.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
To capture and captivate the audience through emotion, through a even though it's a linear song. You know, it's really interesting what he's been able to achieve, and I think it's truly unique to him.
and it's hard to find melody in like a 3-chord progression.
Yeah, and he's playing like a C major, and then he's playing like a D major. It's
a very simplistic approach to composition.
Of course, it sound ass. You know, if you were to play, like if I was to play your C major and then a D major, you'd be like, what are you doing? You're doing a scale, bro? You know what I mean?
Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, but it's in the manner he presents them and then tells a story with such progressions. It's beautiful. Another person who does that very well, like she was singing in a C major key, Shreya, in a live concert that I checked out with my father. It's like, it's really interesting. I think also the language has a huge role to play. These huge elongations of words
and the classical influences that really allow them to find the intricate in-between notes that most of people wouldn't even dare to tackle, especially in a major key, which you want to restrain from creating resistance to the listener. Often that's the approach in the West, but in this particular case, he includes such suspensions that really amplify the whole melody and romantic feel to it.
And look, I could be wrong. I don't know if he's tuned the guitar differently or what. But that's what I see at the moment. So I do apologize if I'm misjudging.
No, fair enough. See, such narrow modulation.
Well, barely any in that chord in there. Mast Magan.
Actually, it's so close that his jaw barely moves. It's so tight here. It's all in the inside. It's
maybe that's what creates that. Maybe it forces him to mix it with a...
No, it amplifies resonance. So what happens is that he's really grounded down here. So all of it, and you can even see in the way that he's moving forward this way, he's really feeling the vibrations from his chest. And you can see it here too. So the usage of the resonance is really prominent. Right. So he's just really laying back to feel the resonance there. More often than not, you would see singers do this, and it's usually because they want to push. Yeah, they want to push. They're trying to force it, try to force the movement of the larynx. But in his case, I just think he's laying back to feel the resonance from the chest. Because if you pull the skin here, then you naturally can feel the resonance here. You see?
Yeah.
And if you are connecting down to your chest, then that becomes amplified, and it's more of a feeling rather than a adjustment.
You're developing that touch and feel.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's a very physical way of singing.
Oh,
how beautiful!
I wonder who the person in the picture is in the back.
Father, grandfather. It's a nice studio as well.
Very cozy.
Very intimate, yeah. I love that light touch of distortion in the guitar too.
To give it that edge.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that guy, dude. Pull that back.
See, you see, that's what I mean. Like, you heard that suspension, so he leaned. Oh, there you go. He leaned in that suspension in a major chord, but without creating suspense, but without creating resistance. I don't understand how that's physically possible, because more often than not, when you lean towards the in-between notes in a major chord progression, it creates resistance. You're like, oh, there it is. Oh, it's weird. Oh, suspense or whatever, done for storytelling purposes. But in this particular case, taking away the storytelling purposes, you feel like it was meant to be there. Like the melody progression was right. Like nothing fell out of place, and that to me is magical. I don't. It's very individualistic. I haven't seen anyone else do it this way so smoothly.
Well, certainly, I think one of the huge highlights of him is not only how he's able to do it, but how he's consistently able to provide that same magnetic feel to his songs,
Uh-huh.
and it's through melody in all of his compositions without it being redundant. It's really, really interesting because it actually becomes addictive, and
And
I
it's
think
not tiring. Like, you could listen to this
no.
literally
Yeah.
all day.
That's literally in the opposite side of that spectrum. I wonder perhaps that's how other fans may feel. Like they could just listen to Arijit all day or to albums back to front.
And without losing you in the way, because there are artists that you could listen to all day because they're so mellow, they're so relaxed, and you would never get tired
In
of
the
it.
sense that they become background music.
But they become
Right.
wallpaper music, right? But
Wallpaper.
but in this particular case, you could never, like, there's something. Yeah, the
It has a
word's
glare.
magnetic.
It has the star effect. It has this I'm really
I
interested
think
on
you're
seeing
correct.
what his beginning was and maybe how his discovery process was of not in the industry only how he got discovered. I guess that a lot of people that's always a question. But I mean it more in the sense of how he discovered his own sound. What that
Discover
process
the
was like.
magnifying of melody, like how. Yeah,
There's a few artists out there that we've reviewed that I always have that question. He's one of them that he's very new in that sense to me. So he's one of those that I'd love to ask that question. What was it? Your sound discovery like? Take me through that process because it's bizarre, but it's very iconic to him.
Yeah.
You know, crazy, and he set other precedents for other artists out there. So interesting.
You hear that? It's beautiful. Oh, it's magical.
You feel like you know him through his music.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
And I also love how elevated he is in his performance.
There has to be something else at play, though. Not to get
must be.
spiritual or anything like that, but that's very.
He has to, like,
And
that's
he's
the
able-
only reasonable explanation behind
And he's
it.
able to capture that consistently.
Yeah.
We grew up. I don't know if perhaps we've shared this, but we grew up. To new viewers, I guess. Well, if you've been watching the channel, you probably know this. But we grew up singing and performing in South America, and I've always been a percussionist. Walucha Ovale has always been a singer since she was very young, and there were specific moments when we were touring where, you would do maybe even 2 or 3 gigs a day. Sometimes you would do, 15 gigs in a week, and it's like it gets tiring and stuff like that. And sometimes you go to TV and stuff like that. But there were specific moments where you could
Everything
feel
aligned.
some sort of magic aura in the air, and everyone could feel it. Not many would talk about it. Maybe after you would.
Or it would be one of those, like, unspoken understanding.
Everyone agreed that this was
Exactly.
fucking magic at play, and if there was any evidence that there was a surreal power
Or like,
existing,
yeah.
this would be it.
If you ever had a doubt that God was real, that
Exactly,
would be
that would be
moment.
evidence.
Yeah.
Or a force, a universal power that everyone could understand.
Something that is out of your hands, that
Yeah.
really comes, the muse.
And the thing is, like in the band, there were people from different religious backgrounds. There was, we grew up in a specific manner. They grew up in another way. Some of them
Yeah.
believed in what I don't know. I don't even know what some of their beliefs might have been. But South America is primarily Catholic.
Yeah.
It seems to be very, very Catholic. Obviously, other religions are at play, but I truly didn't even know that other religions existed that much until I left and went to Europe.
Yeah.
Father was probably more aware because of he spent a lot of time in New York, which is a melting pot of so many cultures. But everyone agreed that at that moment there was something else at play, and it was truly fucking magical. And there were moments, me as a percussionist, that I realized I had a huge impact in that manner. Obviously, because I could create,
You were the heartbeat.
instrumentalization of things. So yeah, truly a heartbeat. And I would try to chase that feeling, and it just wouldn't fucking happen. It would happen in the most. It's like deja vu. It would happen in a moment where you wouldn't even expect it.
And that's right. And it feels like this. It sounds.
But for him,
like
mate,
him.
for him, it's that as he's able to capture that, and he's bottled it.
No, I think it's like every time he sings, is like there's like this natural aligning
to something. I don't know what it is.
Something mystical about it. It is. It's so freaking fantastic.
And here's the thing as well. Like, it seemed to happen more often than not in live performances when we were performing. The bigger the crowds, I guess the likelihood of it happening was higher. I don't know why.
I think it's more energy
more
being
people,
exerted.
right?
I suppose it's just like an amplifier of that.
Yeah. More emotions at play, more people to feed off of.
Yeah.
So
it's an open communication between the performers and the audience, and I think that synergy right there is a huge amplifier of that.
When you're in the crowds of thousands, you could definitely feel something. It might not have been that magic feeling, but you could definitely feel something. When you're in the crowds
there's a buzz.
When you're in the crowds of hundreds, sometimes it might happen there. Sometimes when you're in the crowds of the 50s or the 100, where it was a bit more intimate, then
something clicks.
Yeah, it's really odd. I don't know how to explain it. And,
something very like deep down and personal. I don't know how to explain it. But
and it's not like we played music like this either. We played
party music.
Yeah, we played a genre that was very popular mainly during the festivities. It's just in South America, festivities for Christmas begin in like September.
That's right.
So we would begin
celebrate Christmas right real early.
We would begin from September basically up until January, finish in January. But we were obviously doing school and stuff like that, very young. So, and this genre of music, it doesn't really create elation. I can tell you that. It creates more party. It
creates acceleration.
Yeah, excitement.
Excitement, joy.
But even then, it was able. I guess the genre Arijit plays, which is this, bizarre mix of indie and indie and alternative, mixed with some influences of Indian Orthodox classical music. Perhaps there's something
spiritual at play for sure.
And in India, that seems to be also a theme of things are intertwined, not only with culture but with
spirituality through music.
So again, just making guesses and just sharing. I'm not too sure if it's accurate or inaccurate, but let us know your thoughts. And thanks for watching, guys.
That's right.